So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update show in the world. Today, sitting next to me is no other than Sweet Kid Kino. I don't know if most of you know this, but Kino is my family. He's a family member. He is also my manager. Sweet Kid Kino is my manager, ladies and gentlemen. Get that through your head. He is also the owner of this public service watch announcement channel. Don't forget that, ladies and gentlemen. We want you to know that. Sweet Kikino has prepared some things for me that he wants me to express to you out there, for gratitude, and all that good stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, we have some information that Sweet Kikino wants me to really dictate to you guys. And I will do that, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for a channel that, talks about, when he receives a consignment in the boxes, he rates them from a scale of 1 to 10. Those two Jehovah Witness brothers over there from the Lone Star State, the ones that rate your boxes, the way you send them in and consign it. This channel, we don't do that here. You got to go to the two Jehovah Witness brothers. They do that kind of content there for you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for children's content on watches, you have to go see the group of brothers, from Miami, Florida. They're like 7 Indian brothers from Miami, Florida. They hang out there with all the content creators, They do that kind of content there for you guys. The Indian brothers, they have like tape haircut, they have the eyebrows cut, lines, they have tattoos, with the name of their company logo. If you want that kind of content with all those young kids, you got to go there. We don't do that there. If you want to see the gentlemen that sell watches to young little kids with their father for future investments, you got to go see Big Pun and Heavy D over there from Texas. They do that kind of stuff. All right, guys? You want to see that? You go over there. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see a gentleman that basically he is a cheap knockoff from the real thing, this gentleman by the name of Eugene the Chiapet, Las Vegas, flashing, vagrant, Buffalo Park Ranger, you got to go see him over there. He talks about the whole day of, sinus waxing, sinus waxing, sinus waxing. He talks about the whole day about grooming men, grooming young man. He talks about men that take other men to do manicures in their nails. We're talking about Eugene, the Chia Pet, Las Vegas, flashing, vagrant, Buffalo Park Ranger. If you want that kind of content, he talks the whole day about males, male, the whole day. I mean, I don't know, to each his own, with their preference. I know what I like. My preference is unbelievable. A mí me encantan las hembras y me encantan las conejas. I love it. I love the ladies, But this man, the whole day, he talks about different men. Unbelievable hairstyling, he takes you on trips. He sleeps with you in the same room in hotels. We're talking about Eugene the Chia Pet, Las Vegas, flashing, vagrant, Buffalo Park Ranger. He's roaming around the streets in Las Vegas. He walks around, walking like disturbed and just spewing vomit the whole day, and vomit. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, if you like that kind of content, you got to go over there. They talk the whole day about males, about mans, about FOMO. FOMO. I don't know what that means, FOMO, but he uses that word the whole day. FOMO this, FOMO that. He's unbelievable. And I'm telling you, he has an unbelievable hairline. It's from back here, all the way back here, a big hairline. You got to go see him there, Wicked. If you want to see that kind of content, you go over there. You know, I don't know what his preference is, but he's always talking about the man this, man that, you know, grooming. He's always using the word grooming and grooming and grooming. And you know, he's talking about, you know, vacations with these groomers that he has. I'm just letting you know, Wicked, you know, saludos, Wicked, saludos to you. Hello, Wicked. If this is what they like, you go there. You know, you got to go over there, and Eugene the Chia Pet will take care of you. You know, let me tell you something. If you hear this man talking, you can hear in his voice the hate that he has. It's unbelievable. I never seen nothing like that in my life. Eugene the Chia Pet, Las Vegas, flashing, vagrant, Buffalo Park Ranger. He's unbelievable. You got to go check him out. Listen, I'm giving him a voice out. You know, you got to go check him out. But let me tell you something again, ladies and gentlemen. This guy even says that these men, the groomer, you know, he's like a ringleader, this groomer. He even gives money out to these young men. So I don't know what that's over there. What kind of platform that is. It's not my cup of tea. Maybe it is for you guys. But, you know, I'm just letting you know what's happening. You know, he's always the whole day talking about that he's going to take a young man to, you know, do a wax sinus, you know, sinus or wax sinus. I never seen that in my life. And then second of all, ladies and gentlemen, this man is always, he's hiding his face because, you know, he lives off these low budget hotels that he lives in, and he puts on fake backgrounds in the back of castles and billions of dollar houses, but he will never show you nothing because he says he's a multi-millionaire. Eugene the Chia Pet, Las Vegas, flashing, vagrant, Buffalo Park Ranger, claims he is a multi-millionaire, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Wicked. Thank you so much. Sweet Kid Kino sends his regards to you. Unbelievable. Thank you very much, Wicked. But I'm just letting you know, if that is your kind of, you know, content, then you must go to that gentleman, Eugene the Chia Pet, Las Vegas, you know, flashing, vagrant, Buffalo Park Ranger, Walker. I mean, you do whatever you want with your time. But this is what they talk. They talk there about bathhouses. It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know, like I said again, I don't know. Mientras el amor sea puro. Mientras el amor sea puro, no importa el sexo. If you don't know what I said, you Google it. Little Red Corvette. Unbelievable, but true. You know, mientras el amor sea puro, no importa el sexo, papi. And this is what this guy, you know, his content is all about. He knows about every different channel that does watch content, you know. He takes a little bit from this one, from that one, from that one. The one that he has, you know, perfected is me. He uses all my catchphrases. He uses all my words. Whatever words I use, he's going to use them. And I like that because the more he uses it, it's more, you know, I get more popularity, you know. He's giving me promotion for free. Everybody knows who I am, you know who I am, and they know who Sweet Kid Kino is, you know. But that's what it is. I just wanted to let you know about that. This gentleman, what he spills, you know, spews through his mouth is vomit. You know, it's just creepy, real creepy. And no offense, guys, but I believe that people, the man, you know, the mans that watched that gentleman, Eugene, there's something, you know, I think they have the same beliefs because they go bananas. The way they talk there is unbelievable. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a very open-minded man. And I don't care what you do. Cada cabeza hace con las nalgas lo que quiera. If you don't understand what I said, you Google it. Cada cabeza hace lo que quiera con sus nalgas. Yo las mías las tengo guardadas, papá. Eso es lo que hay. All right? Okay, so we got that taken care, right? You know, we got it taken care. I mean, when he uses that waxing, you know, sinus waxing, oof, that's pretty deep. And he uses it, that's his vocabulary on a daily basis, on a daily grooming, you know, shopping sprees, vacations, stay together in hotels, hairstyling, you know, manicures, FOMO. I don't know what that means, FOMO. Maybe you guys can help me out with what that FOMO means, but it's unbelievable. You know, he gives the guy, the groomer, gives you pocket money so you can spend it. So be careful when watching that channel. One more time. Eugene the Chia Pet, Las Vegas, flashing, vagrant, Buffalo Park Ranger. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say, Damon. You know what I'm trying to say. Damon, did you ever watch that channel? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. You can say yes or no. No harm. You did the right thing. You did the right thing. Okay, you did the right thing. Anyway, guys, enough of that Eugene the Chia Pet. Well done. Well done. You saved yourself. Tell me what you feel when you were watching that channel, Wicked. What did you feel, you know? So, guys, we're going to go into another topic. The other topic that I want to talk to you about is Richard Mille. Richard Mille watches. You know, I was watching a video on Richard Mille watches, and I was watching a young lady by the name of Mille Amanda. You know, Mille Amanda. Amanda Mille, you know? And she was doing an infomercial with a gentleman by the name of, what's his name? He's like an ambassador from Richard Mille, Pharrell Williams Pharrell, you know, Williams Pharrell. Ladies and gentlemen, they did an 8-minute infomercial on Richard Mille, you know, begging people to buy their watches. Richard Mille watches are dead in water, ladies and gentlemen. When you have one of these ambassadors that comes for 8 minutes to show his watch and say, please buy this watch. If you don't believe me, you go see the video. He says, please buy the Richard Mille watches. It's unbelievable. It's sad. Ladies and gentlemen, smart money is staying away from luxury goods. Smart money is staying away from luxury goods. You must, and I emphasize, you must get off the money train. That's it. The watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. La situación está jodida. Ya no hay estilla. Ya no hay dinero. Ya no hay chelito. Ya no hay plata. Ya no hay chavo. No money, no honey. Está jodida la situación, papá. Kino, tú sabes que la situación está jodida, pero estos caballeros no lo entienden todavía, you know? I mean, gentlemen, you do whatever you want. It's your money, you do whatever you want. It's your money, and you do whatever you want. But Richard Mille watches, like this gentleman right here is saying, Rus is finished. If you see that infomercial of that guy, you know, Williams Pharrell, you know, Pharrell, he's an unbelievable, I believe, a rapper, you know, one of those rappers. You should have seen him. His teeth had rhinestones, big orange rhinestones. I never seen that in my life. I never seen that. And ladies and gentlemen, like my friend Damon says, you gotta stop being misogynous. You know, like that gentleman, Eugene the Chia Pet, he's a misogynist. Eugene the Chia Pet, you know, Eugene the Chia Pet really understands what the word misogynist means. Believe me, he understands. Okay? But you gotta stop being misogynist. Listen to Damon. Damon is un hombre brillante, very, very smart. So again, if you're thinking of buying a Richard Mille watch, they will become, and I quote, they will become like Jacob. They will become like Hubert. They will become like, I don't know, man. They're dead. They're dead. I'm telling you, it looks so sad. You should have seen this guy, you know, Williams Pharrell. He has sunglasses on and those rhinestone teeth. You gotta see them. He's unbelievable. I don't know what color the teeth were, but it looks kind of, you know, not good. Not good. So you gotta take a look at that infomercial. It's for 8 minutes. And he's begging the audience to buy Richard Mille watches because the Richard Mille hurrah, you know, you don't know what hurrah is? You Google it. If you don't know what Richard Mille hurrah is, you Google it, ladies and gentlemen. The hurrah is over. It's over. I mean, you guys do whatever you want, you know? You know that me and Sweet Kid Kino, we made a promise to you guys, and it's to always defend you people out there from getting fleeced and flim-flam. That's right. We don't want you guys to get fleeced and flim-flam. We're here to protect you. Sweet Kid Kino is a very, very smart man. Sweet Kid Kino is the brains behind this popular watch channel with organic, you know, subscribers. You know, we have organic. We are organic. You know, like, you know, drinking organic, you know, coconut water. You know, we're organic. So just to, you know, just to let you know. I mean, I know that a lot of you out there are still wishing that things were different, but they're not. La situación está jodida. You know, papá, el negocio de los relojes está muerto. Total muerto, ladies and gentlemen. Just to let you know. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to go to another topic that I want to talk to you about because it's very, you know, it's crazy, you know. I want to show you something today, you know. Listen and learn, okay? Listen and learn. That's right. He's a very smart man, Damon. He's very dangerously smart. Dangerously. Dangerous. Kino dice que tú eres un hombre brillante y inteligente. Eh? Sweet Kid Kino just went like this to me. Unbelievable, that Sweet Kid Kino. Unbelievable, but true. But ladies and gentlemen, we want you to know something. I've been telling you that a lot of these ADs have direct pipelines with factories of watchmakers and with the Muppet boiler room secondary grade watch market. They have pipelines, you know. These people, whatever watch, they get it, you know. Whether you want to believe it or not, they get it. I'm going to talk to you about a watch that I have been offered this watch. I have been offered a Patek Philippe Grand Complications. Patek Philippe Grand Complications, split second chronograph, green dial, green strap, white gold. This is a mammoth of a watch. This is the date of this watch is February. Did I say that right, Kino? February? Febrero, ¿verdad? Febrero. February of 2025. You know, on the warranty and the paperwork. This is, you know, just came out of the womb. It was just born. It was just delivered. February of 2025, I repeat. Fully in a bubble, you know, bubble wrap, plastic, everything. The retail price of this watch, unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, is $337,000 plus your taxes, your Uncle Sam's taxes. Listen and learn, ladies and gentlemen. So when they tell you that these watches, they're only giving out to the AD and the AD sells them to their preferred, you know, customer, you know, that's a sketch. That's a sketch. This watch has so many things. It's full set with box, papers, solid case back, the pusher. We're talking about the 5204 with a 40.2 millimeter casing. Unbelievable watch. Unbelievable. The G.I. Joe. They call this the G.I. Joe with the green dial, the green strap. But the funny thing is, ladies and gentlemen, this is the real big funny part. They're offering me this watch, the retail price is $337,000 plus your taxes. And they're offering me this watch, brand new. It doesn't get more brand new than this, you know, on a bubble. They're offering me this watch for $207,000. $337,000. You heard that, Kevin? And they're offering it to me brand new with bubble wrap for $207,000. Now, how can that be done? Well, like I'm telling you, these people even give discounts. These ADs, They have been fleecing you and flim-flamming you for many years. They even give discounts to the Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market. Unbelievable but true. What you're gonna hear here, you're not gonna hear it anywhere else. You're not gonna hear this from nobody else. Nobody would dare to tell you this. But I will tell you this. And I will tell you this because I'm stupid like that, ladies and gentlemen. I am stupid like that. I'm gonna tell you the truth. A watch fully wrapped, $337,000 plus your taxes. That's like, you're talking about a 350,000, no more than that. I don't know. You're talking about something silly. This is unbelievable. It is. It is an unbelievable looking time machine, Damon. But how much is it, Damon? How much does that watch really cost with taxes? You know, $337,000 plus your, put there an 8%, you know, an 8% on that, you know, $337,000. This is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. And this gentleman is selling me the watch for $207,000 with all the bells and whistles. With all the bells and whistles. So this is to let you guys know, don't fall. Don't fall for the sketch from your dirty, you know, ADs. You know, those ADs that walk around with their shirt open and a little chain. And they look like, you know, like gangsters, pimps, you know, telling you that they only sell to their, you know, preferred clients. That's a sketch, ladies and gentlemen. You know, don't believe these flim-flammers. These guys are unbelievable. I'm telling you, I know what I'm telling you, and I know too much, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm showing off, but I know too much, and I'm telling you the truth. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. I know that you guys, your favorite channels out there is that Deputy Droopy Black Eye Boxer and his sidekick, Jiminy Cricket, the Chia Pet Spray Can Hair, you know, Bud Bundy, you know, his name is Bud Bundy. Unbelievable. I know you like that, and that's fine. You like to look at these old men dressed up as 17, 16-year-olds, you know, vaping around. They vape. I don't know, they do that vape, you know. But it is what it is. I understand you like that, and that's fine. Me and Sweet Kid Kino will continue bringing you unbelievable knowledge, you know, content, you know. Always we're gonna drop knowledge on you guys because you guys deserve it, you know. Listen, they don't want us to keep on, you know, teaching you guys too much, you know. They don't want that. If you guys don't know that, it's time for you to know it. They don't want us to be teaching you too much. I'm not gonna say who, but they don't want that. All right, guys. You know, we're also gonna give you a watch market update too. We're gonna give you a watch market update so you guys will feel better, okay? And here it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Our first watch in the watch market is the Vacheron Constantin Overseas White Gold, you know, perpetual calendar, the 4300V. Unbelievable, full set, you know, with a 41 millimeter casing, with the most famous blue dial in the watch business. Unbelievable, white gold, ultra, thing, unbelievable. It has everything, full set. Retail price of that watch is $111,000. $111,000. And ladies and gentlemen, do yourselves a favor and protect your children's tuition money. Protect your children's tuition money, ladies and gentlemen. Don't give it up. Don't give it up like, you know, like window lickers, you know, and tomato cans, you know, and lollipop suckers and Palmolive dish lickers. Don't give it up, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to tell you, this watch is dropping and dropping and dropping. I don't know what's happening with the Vacheron Constantin, you know, overseas watch models, but those things are dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse, ladies and gentlemen. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. It's your money, and you do whatever you want. We understand. Me and Kino understand. Tú entiendes, ¿verdad, Kino? We understand that you guys have deep pockets, and you can do whatever you want. But we're going to tell you, don't pay for that Vacheron Constantin Overseas white gold perpetual calendar 4300V. Don't pay more than $76,000 and You do whatever you want. La situación está mala. Smart money is staying away from luxury goods. Smart money is staying away from luxury goods. Listen to me. I know what I'm telling you. And guys, just to let you know, I've been hearing around. I don't know where I heard this, but I've been hearing around that they're going to be giving away some free government money again. So be on the lookout for that. I don't know if that's true or not. Let me ask Damon. Maybe Damon knows about that. They're saying that guy, the Musk guy and the new president, they're thinking about giving away, I don't know, a lot of free money again, because they found out too many tricks going on. I'm just letting you know. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an unbelievable watch. It's an H. Moser, in the Avor. Centre, seconds, white gold, blue lagoon concept. The 1200/0206 with a blue fume dial. I call it the Blue Lagoon. You do whatever you want, but I call it the Blue Lagoon. This watch has a 72-hour power reserve. Unbelievable. They make 50 pieces of these watches. 50 pieces. Unbelievable. I mean, this H. Moser is a beautiful looking watch. It has the beautiful, it's a beautiful watch. You do whatever you want. You spend it the way you want to spend it. But the white gold, casing with the leather Blue Lagoon strap, the Blue Lagoon dial, it's unbelievable. 72-hour power reserve, 50 pieces. Retail price, $24,200. To you people out there, they're watching the gentleman push and push, that gentleman, the hungry hippo, Mr. Magoo, the hungry hippo, Mr. Magoo is pushing this watch like there's no tomorrow. But we're gonna help you out too, hungry hippo, Mr. Magoo. I mean, you do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. So the retail price is $24,200. 50 pieces were ever produced. And we're gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. But don't pay for that H. Moser. Don't pay more than $11,000 and done. You do whatever you want. It's your money. You do whatever you want. Me and Sweet Kid Kino, we just want to give you information so you don't continue giving away your children's tuition money away. You do whatever you want. Our next watch is an unbelievable time machine. It's an unbelievable time machine. We're going to be talking about the FP Journe, the Ultaloon Boutique Edition. This watch that I'm going to talk to you about now is an unbelievable watch. This is FP Journe. This is a monster. This right here, this is the father of King Kong. This watch is the father of King Kong. Unbelievable. FP Journe Ultaloon Boutique Edition, 42 millimeter. Unbelievable. This is an extremely rare edition. It's even discontinued. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, this watch. It's an unbelievable watch. It has pink gold. And this watch was so expensive at one moment that it was over $560,000. And the people that were carrying this watch, it was the gentleman, that gentleman, Deputy Droopy, black-eyed boxer. He had all the watches, and he was making a killing with these watches. That's right, Damon. It's a wow. This is a monster watch, Poppy. But I want you to see where this is heading to. These people were eating steak dinners, $17,000 steak dinners, with the little Bud Bundy and Deputy Droopy with the black-eyed boxer. They were living life. They were living large on your children's tuition money, ladies and gentlemen. This is unbelievable but true. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, that watch was over $560,000. And you had the people, those people over there from Feet Happy, Feet Happy over there, and the other gentleman with the toupee wig man, they were just buying this watch and living large, feet happy and toupee wigman, with the yellow pointy shoes and the skin tight pink jeans and the flower shirts. They're unbelievable. This guy's worth over $480 million. I'm talking about toupee wigman. And they had those watches. And ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you the price that don't pay, you're going to go, wow. And I'm going to give you the price. Don't pay for that beautiful FP Journe Ultaloon Boutique Edition, 42 millimeter, rare, extremely rare. Discontinue the reference Calibre 13003. Ladies and gentlemen, no paguen por ese phenomenon. Don't pay for that watch more. You ready for this, ladies and gentlemen? Take it easy. I'm going to give it to you. Don't pay more than $147,000. And dumping! The watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. It's critical. The watch market is dead. It is dead, and I love it. I love it. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak black ceramic chrono. Unbelievable watch. Reference number 26240 with a 41 millimeter casing. Unbelievable. I mean, this is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta give it to you so you guys keep on learning. This watch at one moment was all the way up. I mean, unbelievable. All the way up, like the song, like the song says, all the way up. This beautiful AP Royal Oak. Black ceramic chrono, 26240, 41 millimeter. Retail price, listen and learn, retail price was $78,200. And in the Corona era, this watch was over $265,000. Unbelievable, but true, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen, and I mean gentlemen, listen to me. Don't pay for that AP Royal Oak Black Ceramic Chrono 26240, 41 millimeter. Don't pay more. I mean, you do whatever you want. But don't pay for that AP Chrono Black Ceramic. Don't pay more than $99,000. And dumping! Man, le doy Kino. Le doy un poco más. Dumping! Watch market is dead. He's dead. You do whatever you want. You can continue maintaining these people's lifestyle. You can continue maintaining their red gold fast car. You can continue maintaining their steak dinner. The steak dinner, the guy with the salt. Guy with the salt, with the white t-shirt, sunglasses, and the Patek. You can continue, He slices the steak to you, and he puts the bone in your mouth. You can continue doing all that, ladies and gentlemen. You can continue maintaining their sushi dinner, their ripped jeans. You understand me? Their Nike, Louis Vuitton sneakers. You can continue doing all that, ladies and gentlemen. That's up to you. We're here to inform you. We understand that this is like an epidemic. You guys have like an epidemic of giving them, what you have, but that's fine, Me and sweet Kino just keep on holding. We'll keep on holding the short end of the stick, but that's fine. We like it like that, ladies and gentlemen. We like it like that, And I'm telling you, you cannot continue being window lickers and lollipop suckers. The watch market is dead. Our next watch is a Cartier Calibre de Cartier Rose Gold, reference number W15559S1. Unbelievable. Retail price is $42,100. This is an unbelievable Cartier, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you something. We might call Cartier dogs and dogs with fleas. But let me tell you, Cartier is there ranked as like the number 3rd watch company that sells the most watches out there. For your information, they're like number 3 selling time machines. Get it through your head. We're here to show you things, we're here to show you. See that watch there? That watch is dead. Dead in water. That watch is dead in water. Don't get near it. You're going to lose it. You're going to lose. Van a perder las nalgas. That's all I got to say to you. Nalgas is buttocks, buttocks. I was going to tell you to Google it, but, you do whatever you want. El Cartier Calibre Rose Gold, retail price $42,100 on a leather strap. Beautiful time machine. Beautiful rose gold. Unbelievable. What a hefty retail price. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to tell you the truth. Me and Sweet Kid Kino are going to tell you the truth. Don't pay for that Cartier Calibre. Don't pay more. I mean, you do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch more. Listen up and learn. Don't pay. And I'm talking about full set. And we're talking about used slider condition material watches in this channel. Don't get that confused. Used slider condition material watches. Don't pay for that Calibre Cartier. Don't pay more than $12,500. And Dumping, we told you. It's looking like a bargain, that watch. So I'm not telling you to buy it. Look into it, Unbelievable. This is a watch is unbelievable. It has a lot of buttons and everything. You can push buttons and all that stuff. But you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Our next watch is a Vacheron Constantin Overseas Rose Gold, perpetual calendar. This is the rose gold, not the white gold. I said white gold before. Ultra thin, 41 millimeter, with a retail price of $111,000. Unbelievable, this watch. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want, You do whatever you want. This is a beautiful blue dial. And we're going to tell you, you do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch more than $82,000 and dumping. That's right. It's a good one. It's a good one. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. I'm giving to you the information that you guys need. So you can put all this information in your arsenal and protect yourself from all these flim-flammers who have been taking advantage of your children's tuition money. You do whatever you want, but stop picking on your 401k, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pick on it. There's no more money out there, ladies and gentlemen. They cannot do the wishy-washy no more. They cannot hype watches among themselves no more. It's already out there. It's out there, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody knows. It's no secret no more. It's over. Since Juan Nieves and Sweet Kid Kino to me, Joaquin to you came along. That's it. It's in the open air. We open a can of worms for all of you, ladies and gentlemen. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Our next watch is a Patek Philippe Grand Complications. Travel time, green dial, the 5930, platinum, chrono, unbelievable, 39.5 millimeter casing, has a retail price of $107,230. Unbelievable time machine, ladies and gentlemen. This is an unbelievable time machine. Tremendo reloj, papá. Flip, this is an incredible time machine, Flip. You know what I'm trying to say. This is an unbelievable watch. Estos son relojes para gente seria. These watches are for serious people, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm telling you, this watch, with that beautiful green dial, the G.I. Joe. Did any of you, when you were youngsters, play with G.I. Joes? I had a couple of G.I. Joes. I had one that I would push I had a string. I would push in the back, and I would send it in a mission, in New York, in Orchard Beach. Orchard Beach, and I used to go to, Jones Beach in New York, and I would send him in a mission. And one time, I must have pushed the string too much, and he just kept on flapping, and he ended up in Nassau. Unbelievable, but you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you guys play, if your childhood was like mine, but mine was, I had G.I. Joes that had heads missing, arms missing, limbs missing. It was unbelievable, but it was a beautiful time in my life, It is what it is, And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, going back to this Patek Philippe Complications Travel Time Green Dial 5930, Platinum, Chrono, 39.5 millimeter casing, retail price $107,230. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and don't pay for that watch. And don't pay more. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. It's your money, and you spend it as you please. But me and Kino here to tell you what we believe you should pay. Don't pay for that watch. Don't pay more than $78,000 and do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. You again. ¿Sabes, papá? Lo jodí todo, lo jodí. Lo cepillé. Lo jodí todo, para que lo sepan. Eso es lo que hay. You do whatever you want. ¿Qué me preparaste aquí? La ginebra. Está bueno, está bueno. Está muy bueno, está muy bueno. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be talking about a Rolex. A Rolex Sky Dweller, Oyster Flex. Unbelievable rose gold. Unbelievable looking time machine. 42 millimeter casing. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a 2023 watch, brand new watch with all the bells and whistles, you know, full set. If they don't give it to you full set, you don't want it. And we're talking about used, slighted condition material watches in this channel. Used, don't get that confused. Used. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch is the reference number 336235 with a retail price, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to shock you guys. This watch has a retail price of $42,700. The Sky Dweller, it has a beautiful white dial, crisp white dial. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. And you're not going to believe this. This watch at one moment in that Corona era, they were like 60, 65,000, and people just sending, wires, boom, 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 sending their children's tuition money away, boom, boom, picking on your 401k, boom, boom, getting all these guys fat, getting them all fat, belly fat on your children's dime. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes, like they say, every day a sucker is born. And, it's unbelievable, but true, My father would tell me that always. He said, hijo, todos los días nace un come mierda, He would tell me that in Spanish, My father was an unbelievable man. He was from Puerto Rico, but he came to live in the Bronx of New York in the very, very early 50s. And, he learned English, and he was something else, it's unbelievable. He was era un hombre, he was a man that would study the human mind, and so he gave me a little bit of that gift. He passed it to me. Unbelievable, but true. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. So this watch, this Rolex Sky Dweller 42 millimeter 336235, retail price $42,700. I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the good news if you're looking for that watch. Don't you dare pay more. Don't you dare pay more. You ready for this? And we're talking about used slider. It passes. Used is used. In slider condition, it slides for new. In condition. It slides. And we're going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch more than $31,000. And you do whatever you want. Una vez más, Kino. Seguro. For real. Kino says one more time. I don't know. I'm just letting you know what's going on. I'm just letting you know what's going on the watch market today. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want with your 401k. We don't care. We're just going to give it to you straight. That's all. You do whatever you want. Our next watch is a Patek Philippe Nautilus 7118 stainless steel diamond bezel. This is for a smaller physique man, smaller man, more petite, It's unbelievable looking time machine. Some ladies also, rock this watch, but I got to give it to you too. I got to be, everywhere, So the 7118 1200A diamond bezel. Unbelievable with a 35.2 millimeter casing. Retail price of that watch, the retail price of that watch is $41,480. I repeat, stainless steel. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. And this watch at one moment was all the way up. All the way up. I mean, you're not going to believe me. This watch was all the way up to $90,000. You know, stainless steel watch, $90,000. Unbelievable. You know, like I said again, I hope nobody got offended when I said about more of a smaller physique. I said it because I'm gonna be honest, guys. I don't know if you know this, but I'm 6'3", 248 pounds. You know, so you know, if I try to wear that watch on my wrist, it's gonna look like an Ellipse. You know, the Ellipse, Patek Philippe Ellipse. That now they're selling them for 30 in the 33 millimeter casing, 34 millimeter casing. You know, it'll look like something like that. You know, so that's what I'm saying. So please don't get offended with me. You know. Anyway. This watch is unbelievable, the 7118 with a diamond bezel. Retail price $41,480, stainless steel. And ladies and gentlemen, it was all the way up there to $85,000, $90,000, $95,000. And we're talking about a practically brand new watch, this watch that I've been offered. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $63,000. And done! Ma? Done! What am I? Done no more. Sweet Kid Kino told me, he gave me the signal. Unbelievable, Sweet Kid Kino. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak stainless steel 41 millimeter white dial, reference number 26320. This is stainless steel, ladies and gentlemen. And it's your favorite, your favorite word, you know, collector's grade, collector's choice, collector's dream, you know, because they changed the name on you guys. There's no more discontinue. They don't want to use that name no more because we promoted too much the word discontinue. We have awakened too many people out there, you know, with the word discontinue. So now they have come to the conclusion, let's change it around to collector's choice, collector's dream, you know, collector's grade. But we don't care. We don't care. We're here to tell the truth. You know. So, Damon, take it easy, Damon. So, you know, we're here to tell the truth, ladies and gentlemen. And the AP stainless steel Royal Oak 41 millimeter white dial, reference number 26320. You know, discontinue. This watch has a retail price of $26,800. You know, it's unbelievable time machine. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you're thinking of buying watches, you know, start looking. I'm not telling you to buy it. Start looking already, you know. And you can, you know, always when you have something to argue with one of your favorite Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market channels and dealers, you show them our videos. But this is what Mr. Nieves says. This is the price that he says. And ladies and gentlemen, they're going to honor it. No, what, Kino? Sweet Kid Kino went like this to me. So I'm just letting you know. You use our name, you use our videos, and you show them. You know, you show them the watch. Like this watch right here. The AP Royal Oak stainless steel chrono, reference number 26320. Retail price $26,800. You know, collector's grade. And we're going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch. And we're talking about complete set. You know, if they give it to you piece by piece, you don't want it. I repeat, if they give you the watches piece by piece, one link missing, the box is missing, you know, the wishy-washy stuff. The wishy-washy stuff. You say no. But I'm going to tell you, you pay for this watch, don't pay more than $31,000 and hold on. Done! Do whatever you want, right? You do whatever you want. It's your money and you do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna talk to you about something here. I've been talking about the Vacheron Constantin, the overseas, you know, rose gold, ultra thin, perpetual calendar. I've talked about two, and this is the third one. But I'm going to show you something. I'm going to listen and learn. Listen and learn. Escuchen y aprendan. Vacheron Constantin Overseas Rose Gold Ultra Thin Perpetual Calendar with a 41.5 millimeter casing. Retail price is $111,000. $111,000. And I've talked to you about the white gold with the blue dial, right? I've talked to you about the rose gold with the blue dial. Now check this out. We're going to talk about the same watch, same specifications. You know, they say, wait, that's specifications. My English is getting better. I said specifications. Unbelievable. Nice. This watch, the difference between the white gold and the rose gold with the blue dial on both of them is that this one has a white dial. And it has the little markers, you know, the little markers on it, a little soft blue on it. Soft, but it's white. The dial is white. And check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Same retail price, $111,000. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for this Vacheron Constantin Rose Gold Perpetual Calendar. Ultra thin, 41.5 millimeter casing, white dial. Don't pay more, and I mean don't pay more than $66,000 in dumping. Ma, seguro. Dumping again. You paying for the blue dial, for the Picasso blue dial on the Vacheron Constantin, you paying $20,000 extra. $20,000 you're paying for the blue dial. For the white gold blue dial or for the rose gold blue dial. This one is the rose gold white dial with the little markers with a real soft, you know, sky blue. You're paying that. $66,000. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to talk to you about a watch that is an unbelievable watch and I believe an unbelievable bargain. This is the Vacheron Constantin Patrimony Tradicional World Time Rose Gold with a 42.5 millimeter casing. This watch, I can tell you, it can compete with the Pateks, you know. It can compete, you know, just with any other watch, you know, in complications. This watch can compete. We're talking about the Vacheron Constantin Patrimony Tradicional World Time Rose Gold 42.5 millimeter casing. This watch has a retail price of $57,985. Unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, some of your favorite watch companies out there have this same watch, you know, to flim-flam you. They had it for $48,000. Then they brought it down as a bargain price for $38,000. And this is an unbelievable watch. I mean, this is unbelievable. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you not to pay for this Vacheron Constantin Patrimony Tradicional World Time Rose Gold 42.5 millimeter with a retail price of $57,985. Unbelievable time machine. I mean, you do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch, and you do whatever you want. You ready for this, ladies and gentlemen? Watch market is dead. The watch market is dead. The watch market is broken. The watch market is broken like Brokeback Mountain. Unbelievable, you know? Unbelievable. The watch market is dead like Brokeback Mountain. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. But don't pay for that Vacheron Constantin Patrimony. You ready? Don't pay more than $17,000 in dumping. Don't pay more than $17,000 in dumping. Don't pay more than $17,000 in dumping. You saw what this Amanda Mille had to do. She had to call that guy, you know, Williams Farrell, to come in and do an infomercial on Richard Mille watches, because Richard Mille watches are dead in water. That's right, Richard Mille's watches are dead. They're floating face down like this. Practice it like this. Unbelievable. Así quiero, ¿verdad? Así. Así. Dead. You know, Amanda Mille had to bring for 8 minutes. He had to bring, you know, Williams Pharrell, that rapper. You know that guy. He had rhinestone teeth. He had grill. It's unbelievable, you know. For 8 minutes, she brought him in because Daddy told her do this infomercial with this Muppet, you know, to see if we can, you know, create some more sales. Porque la situación está jodida. Don't forget the name, Amanda Mille. 8 minutes infomercial with Williams Pharrell. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a watch that they have been trying to flim-flam you and fleece you, I would say, for the last, since 2024, you know, I would say, you know, I don't know, I'll say a good year already, they've been trying to flim-flam you with these watches. I'm going to be talking about the Patek Philippe Ellipse, you know, from those 60s, 70s, and the very, very early 80s. You know, and they've been trying to get you taken with these watches. But these watches are all dead. No matter what Eugene, the Chiapet, Las Vegas, flashing, vagrant, Buffalo Park Ranger tells you, the Patek Philippe Ellipse, you know, those 33 millimeters, 34, they're very, very, very small again, very small. No matter what he tells you, those watches are dead in the water as well. What you're paying there basically is you're paying for gold on these watches. Like this watch that I'm going to talk to you, and this is the way you want these watches. If you are going to get these watches, you know, like they're telling you now, like they're giving you all these subliminal messages that these watches are the most powerful watches right now to get. You know, all those watches from those 70s and 60s, and you know, you know those watches. You know what I'm saying? You know, this watch here is a Patek Philippe Ellipse blue linen dial, yellow gold. You know, unbelievable, with a Milanese bracelet. This watch that I'm going to talk to you about, this watch is yellow gold. It's the 3545. Unbelievable. You know, this is an extremely rare watch. And why I say extremely rare is because this is a complete watch. You know, from the this watch is from 1972. I repeat, this watch was purchased in the year 1972. I have all the information on this watch. Unbelievable. Box, paperwork, and you're not going to believe this, receipt. Unbelievable. When this watch was purchased in January of 1972, it was purchased for $3,520. Listen, guys, in 1972, $3,520 was monster money, guys. Monster money. Damon, tell me if that's not monster money or not. 1972, papi, eso era chavo con cojones. That was, man, you were living large. If you were able to spend $3,520 in 1972 on a luxury watch, time machine, dude, you were like, man, that was serious stuff. Serious. And this watch in gold, it had 92 grams. I said it wrong. It has 92 grams. If you take the 92 grams of gold in today's time, you take that 92 grams, you move the movement, you know, the movement. You're going to take some grams out of it. Let's say the watch now has, I don't know, let's say, you know, 78 grams, right? 78 grams. You have there, and gold. I don't know, somebody help me out, but I'm just gonna say a number. This is just, make believe. No, not even make believe. This is for real. You have there like $6,000 in gold. $6,000 in gold. And I explained to you, this is a watch. This is a monster watch from 1972. But as you know, we have a problem with this watch. Most of those Ellipse watches were born with a leather strap. When they were born with fully bracelet in the casing, that's a different story. So if you had a small wrist, they had to cut that. They had to cut the gold with a special scissor for cutting gold. And the watch became smaller. So most of those watches, they stood with the family member until he left the world. Until they passed away, because nobody had those sizes. So that today they're trying to flim-flam you with these watches, but most of these watches have all been cut. And today, if you're gonna send that watch to Patek Philippe to, add on some bracelet to that, Papa, it's gonna cost you more than the whole watch, right? So they're trying to flim-flam you back and forth with this watch. What I'm trying to tell you is, ladies and gentlemen, this watch has all the bells and whistles. Guarantee, box, original Patek Philippe box from that watch. The guarantee and the receipt. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch. This is an unbelievable time machine. Maybe I'm doing a big favor to this Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market dealer by me telling you this number. If you are going to buy this watch, this is unbelievable. This is a blue linen dial with a Milanese bracelet. Un reloj de puta madre, exagerado reloj. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. Remember, you have like $6,000 in gold. Don't pay for that watch more than $11,000, and I'm going to be nice. Okay? Don't pay more than that. So don't be tomato cans. Don't be window lickers. Don't be Palmolive dish lickers. Don't be crayon eaters. Stop being crumb bums, and don't believe the new hype they're injecting you with, that the Patek Philippe Ellipse is the new thing. Don't believe Eugene, the Chia Pet, Las Vegas, flashing, vagrant Buffalo Park Ranger walker. He's walking all over the place. Don't believe him. When you see a guy that does a video and he puts a make-believe screen in the back, background screen of a mansion and cars, you cannot believe this person too much. Okay? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy all this information that Sweet Kid Kino prepared for you. Sweet Kid Kino takes a lot of time to prepare this information for you guys. He really goes through a lot of, research and all that good stuff. So, Kino, they're telling you thank you. So guys, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like our video. And like me and Sweet Kid Kino say every week, we also have a private watch group. It's under my name, Juan Nieves. It's on Facebook. Scroll down to about, and you'll find their Opus and Time watches. And like me and Sweet Kid Kino say, take care and brush your hair. Peace.